This is day 24. I'm reading Reader Come Home by Marianne Wolf, page 99. With little hesitation, I chose Hermann Hesse's Magister Ludi, also known as the Glass Bead Game, which was cited when Hesse received the Nobel Prize in the Literature in 1946. To say I began the experiment with the most cheerful disposition of is no exaggeration. I was practically gleeful at the idea that I would be forcing myself to reread one of the most influential books of my earlier years. Force became the operative word. When I began to read Magister Ludi, I experienced the literary equivalent of a punch to the cortex. I could not read it. The style seemed obdurately opaque to me, too dense, with unnecessarily difficult words and sentences whose snake-like constructions obfuscated rather than illuminated meaning for me. The pace of action was impossible. A bunch of monks slowly walking up and down stairs was the only image that came to mind. It was as if someone had poured thick molasses over my brain whenever I picked Magister Ludi up to read. To compensate, first I consciously tried to read the text less quickly, to no avail. The rapid speed to which I had become accustomed while reading my daily gigabytes of material did not allow me to slow down enough to grasp whatever Hesse was conveying. I did not need a galvanic skin response test to know that my skin was sweating faintly. I was breathing more heavily, and my pulse rate was probably elevated. I would not have wanted to know my cortisol level. I hated the book. I hated the whole so-called experiment, which was anything but scientific in the first place. Finally, I wondered how on earth I had ever thought this was one of the great 20th century novels, Hesse's Nobel Prize notwithstanding. It was a different time. It would never be well received now. Hesse could probably not have found a publisher for the book today. Case closed. I thought as I shoved Magister Ludi unceremoniously back between Hemingway and Hesse's much less demanding Siddhartha on my neatly alphabetized bookshelf, the one filled with the books that had largely formed who I am and how I think. It scarcely mattered that I have failed my own test. No one would care or know but me. But me. No one would be the wiser. As for my any wisdom on my own part, the inescapable conclusion, which I had no intention of sharing with anyone else, was that I had changed in ways I would never have predicted. I now read on the surface and very quickly. In fact, I read too fast to comprehend deeper levels, which forced me constantly to go back and reread the same sentence over and over with increasing frustration. I was impatient with the numbers of clauses and phrases per sentence, as if I had never reverentially encountered the much longer sentences of Proust and Thomas Mann. I was completely offended by the number of words Hesse felt necessary to use in every other sentence. And finally, my so-called deep reading processes never surfaced. There, I had changed. I was Ionesco's rhinoceros, too. So what? I muttered aloud, to no one in particular. The experiment was a disaster. I would have gone no further than the privacy of my bookshelves had it not been for two quietly disturbing thoughts. First, the bookshelves were filled with my friends, including Hermann Hesse, whose collective formative influences upon me had been second only to those my family and my teachers. Was I, for all purposes, about to desert the friends of a lifetime, relegating most of them perfunctorily to their alphabetized place, shelved in a different time? Second, over the years I had told 1,000 children with dyslexia that failures, like enemies, can be our best teachers if we can see them as opportunities for recognizing what we need to change. With the reading equivalent of gritting one's teeth, I forced myself to return to task, but this time for mercifully brief, concentrated, 20-minute intervals. I was cagily vague with myself about how many days I would give this unplanned, unpleasant, and undesired phase 2 of the experiment. Okay, she was complaining about all those big words in the Hermann Hesse's book. She herself did use many big words for me. Okay, so I should wrap up today's reading here. This is Minky, and please correct me if you can. Thank you.